Hi everyone, I'm Greg from Zoho Expert, and today I'm going to be making a quick video building on my series about collecting data and documents from your clients automatically using Zoho CRM. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to have a blueprint inside Zoho CRM where you manage the documents that are being uploaded by your clients. Before you watch this video though, you really should watch our other videos in this series. So if you go to our YouTube channel, you can see our playlists. We have a playlist here on automatic data and document collection from clients using Zoho CRM. So I really suggest you watch these videos in order first, and then you watch this video next. Alright, let's get started. So, as building on the previous videos, there'll be a card above as well, directing you to the first video in the series. Building on our previous videos, we now have this requested documents module. Okay, and we can request documents from clients by going into the contact and then clicking the button here, which I've made for request proof of address. Now, this button can be duplicated and used for any other types of documents as well. So the first step we're going to do is we're going to just show you quickly how to do that. So we go to modules and fields, onto our contacts, we go to links and buttons, and we will edit this, and we want to just copy the code from in here. Actually, let's do this a bit more user-friendly. So we're going to no. This is the best way is just to copy the code, I suppose. I was hoping that I could put a field here that says requested document, but unless you're using a blueprint, there's no way to input the data. So for the button, it's going to have to be pretty fixed. But what we will do is we will start this here, requested document type. And then here we will have our type of document. And then we'll just change throughout. Wherever we see proof of address, we're going to change it to this requested document type. And now this code will be much more flexible, and we'll be able to use it repeatedly without needing to worry. There we go. Okay. There we go. Okay, so this code is now completely reusable. So we'll copy this code, we will save it, and we'll save, and then we'll make a new button, and we'll call this request proof of ID. Click here to request proof of ID from contact. And we'd like it to run a custom on the view page, and we'd like it to run a custom function, and it's writing function, and we'll call this request, let's say, button request proof of ID from contact. Button request proof of ID from contact. Okay. So now we have our code, so we can get rid of that, and we can paste in our previous code. We can change this to proof of ID, and we just need to put in our parameters here. So we have the contact first name, we have the contact last name, we have the contact email, and we have the contact record ID. Now, unfortunately, we do need to duplicate this for each one of these buttons that we make. We could technically look up the contact details, so just send the ID and then look up the name and email address and that from within the script. But I technically think that will then count as 2 APIs instead of just one. And the bigger your system gets, the more you have to worry about those API credits. So we're not going to actually put data in there. Just going to save, and then let's check that the button works. So let's go to Jack Jones again. And this time we'll now have multiple buttons to choose from. So the first button is request proof of address, but we hit the down arrow and then we say request proof of ID. And there we go, successfully created document request for proof of ID from Jack Jones. So now we go to requested documents, and we can see we have a request for proof of ID and a request for proof of address. If we go to the mail app, subject, action required, please provide us with your proof of ID ASAP. Dear Jack, we hope this finds you well. Please provide us with the following document as soon as possible, proof of ID. And then Jack can click here and he can upload his proof of ID. Okay, so you can do that as many times as you like. You can make multiple buttons for all the different documents you might want to get from different clients. There are easier ways to do it long term. They're very difficult to set up, but then they'll be much more user friendly for you long term. I may decide to make a video on that eventually, but please do comment in the video description or video comments down below if that's something you're interested in, because I'm only going to make that video if there's a few people who are interested in it, because it'll take a long time. But I'll give you all the code, etc. to do it yourself. Anyway, the point of today's video is what do we do when the clients give us their documents? Okay, right now they just arrive here and nothing changes. So the first thing we want to do is we want to create a custom view here. Okay, so we want 2 custom views. So the first view is going to be outstanding documents, and this is going to be the status. So we're going to filter these by status is, and then we want rejected, requested, and partly accepted. So that means if it's any of these 3 statuses, we're still waiting for the client to send us the document. So we want the type of document, and we want the next chase at. So that's when we're going to next chase them for the document. And let's also put the requested at, so we know when we ask them the first time, when we ask them to provide us the document. And let's put the contact, so we can see who they are. Okay, so, oh, and let's have the status as well. It might be handy to be able to tell whether the document has come in ever, or whether they are just ignoring our emails, or perhaps if we've rejected it, or only accepted part of it. All right, so we'll save this. And let's make this a favorite. So now we can see here all of our documents that are requested. Okay, so the next one we're going to make is going to be a received documents, or pending review documents. And we want to filter this by status as well, and this is where the status is received, because that means we need to now check, are we going to accept it, or are we going to reject it, or what are we going to do? So here we want to know the type, we want to know the contact, and perhaps we want to know when it was received, because we might filter this by received by, so that we are dealing with the documents in the order that they came in fairness to the clients, so that, you know, the people who submitted it, you know, furthest in the past, they get their response the soonest. All right, and then we'll have the requested document name here. All right, so we'll make this one a favorite as well. And now you can see Jack Jones has provided us with his document, and it's pending review. See? All right, so first thing we're going to do is let's upload the proof of address that we requested. So I'm just going to select my logo. and I'm going to submit. There we go. Now remember, you can do fancy things in here and have a thank you page that says thank you, we'll get back to you as soon as possible about your document. Okay, so now I'm going to refresh this view, and now you'll see the two documents that are pending review. So Jack has provided us with his proof of ID and his proof of address. So in today's video, we're going to focus on making a blueprint for our team members to go through and accept or reject the document. So they'll open the document, they'll look at it, they'll say, yeah, that's his proof of address, I'm happy with that. And then they'll click on the blueprint up here that says, yeah, accept. So let's get started with that process. So we're going to go to blueprint, and we're going to create a new blueprint, and we're going to call this requested document processing. And this will apply to the requested documents module. The layout always standard. I don't recommend messing about with layouts because that really becomes very difficult to maintain later on. And the status field is the one that matters to us now. Okay, so we're not going to have any criterias for this. We're just going to have all of them are going to be, all records are going to be involved in this blueprint. We're going to go next. Now, everything starts with no status. All right. Then from no status, we will have requested. And we just draw a arrow from none to requested. And here we call this transition requested. Now, we don't need to do anything during this transition because this transition is going to happen automatically for us when we create the record. So the next thing we need to do is from requested, we will be on received. So the document will go from being requested to being received. Until the client actually submits it, it'll just stay in the requested action here. Okay, so this transition, we'll call this received. Now I'm calling these the same things as the stage because it helps us later when we're coding this. Okay, so again, nothing needs to be done, although what you could technically do is you could make an email here that says email notification. We'll do this now actually. So the name of this is going to be client, so contact, email, confirm receipt of document. And we'll choose the recipient. So the recipient is going to be the contact attached to the requested document. It's going to be their main email address. Now, you can BCC yourself here if you want to, and that way you can see what emails your system is sending out. So now we're going to select a template, but we don't have a template for this yet, so we're going to clone one. And we'll go to one of our existing templates, and we'll clone, and we'll call this requested document, thank you, document received, pending approval. Clone. Alright, so now in this one, we take away action required because there's no action required from them anymore. So we say, thank you, we have received your requested document type. So that will say proof of address, proof of ID, etc. We will be in touch soon. Okay, so here we say, we hope this finds you well. Thank you for submitting your, and then it'll say what the document is, and then we'll say here, a member of our team will review your upload shortly and will confirm whether or not the document meets our criteria. Please let us know if you need anything in the meantime. And now we can delete this button because the button is no longer necessary. Alright, so this is just a polite email to them saying, thanks, we received your document and we'll let you know once we've reviewed it. So we're going to save that, put it in public templates. Now you could create folders for document collection, for example. Anyway, let's go back here, refresh so we can see our new template. There we go. and you can also choose which email address the template's sent from. Now, I like to do this from a general email address that comes to our ticket system, so that if a client replies to that email, then anyone in my team can see it. I am not a fan of myself or my team receiving direct emails. I think that's a recipe for disaster, because people will be on holiday or people will be very busy. It's good for the team to be able to respond to things, as and when they have a moment. Anyway, so now we're at the received stage, okay? And this is where our team will get involved. So now they've got three options. They've got accept, partly accept, or reject. Now, in essence, partly accept and reject are the same thing, okay? So the reason why we might have a partly accept is because if we're asking somebody for their last 3 months pay slips or their last 3 months bank statements, for example, they might only send us the last month, or they might send us 3 months ago's, but not 2 months or this month's. So in that situation, we might only partly accept their response. But it's technically going to have the same outcome as reject, because we're going to send them another email saying, hey, you need to send us your other, 3 months bank statements, and there'll be a message in there that will explain to them what they need to do. So we're just going to call these the same things as before, accepted. And now here you would have an email notification that goes out to the client and says, thank you, we've accepted your upload. Let's just call it then, contact document accepted. Choose recipient. Again, we go to the contact attached to the document and use their email address. You could BCC yourself if you want. Template, create template. We'll clone our previous template. And this will be called thank you, document accepted. Okay. So this says, thank you, your document type has been accepted. So thank you, your proof of address has been accepted. That will be the subject line of the email. So here we say, thank you for submitting your proof of address document. A member of our team has reviewed your document type and has accepted. You can word this however you like. I mean, I'm not sitting here writing templates all day, so you might want to say and has found that it meets our criteria or something like that. But the general gist is we're letting them know that we accept their document. Please let us know if you need anything further. Okay, thank you, blah blah blah. So we're going to save that. And now if we go back to our blueprint, we can select document accepted. Done. Okay, now here we've got partly accepted, so this will be called partly accepted. And we're not going to do anything here for now, and we've got rejected. And again, we're not going to do anything here now because we need to update some fields. So we're going to publish this. And we are going to now make a field inside our document requests module called reject reason. Because when we reject a document, we need to give the person a reason why we've rejected their document so that they can then upload the document again following our guidance. So here we're going to use the multi-line field and we're going to call this reject reason. Okay, and we're going to save and close. So now if we go back to blueprints, oh, wrong place. Blueprint. And we open up our blueprint. We can now go on partly accepted, and we say during partly accepted, we want to add a field that is reject reason. Okay, and now what it's going to do is it's going to ask your team member to write a message explaining why the document is rejected. You can also say, put a message here that says, please explain to the contact why you have only partly accepted their upload, and let them know what you need them to provide with their next attempt. Okay, and then we can move that to the bottom. Now, I like to make notes mandatory because then it records on my system which of my staff members has progressed this forward. So that way, even if you just put in here the note that says partly accepted, then in the notes I'll have an audit log of who ran this exact blueprint. Another thing to consider is here, you need to give your various teams access to this. So you would go to roles, and then you would select all the different roles in your company that you want to have access to this. So it might be the admin team or the sales team, whoever, you'd select them from here. Because right now, only I am able to progress this blueprint. But because I'm the only user on my system, that's the only option I have. But for you, you would want to select who else can use this. You can select a user directly, like a specific user, or a role or a group. Now, I suggest using roles because then you assign the role to your staff members. When you give them a promotion or they change job, then they'll automatically have access to this. You won't have to come in and mess around with each individual person when they come and go from the company. All right, so that is the rejected or partly accepted document. So now we go to email notifications and we say contact partly accepted document, and we choose the recipient. And this is going to be exactly the same again. We're going to go to the contact attached, add, save, select template, create template. We'll duplicate our record again. But this time we want the one that has the button in it. So we're going to clone. And we're going to say requested documents partly accepted. Okay, so action required. So we can only partly accept your proof of address or proof of ID upload. Please take action ASAP. Okay. And in here, we say we hope this finds you well. Unfortunately, we can only partly accept your document type. And then we'll have the message. So let's clone this. And let's put in a spacer. Okay, and we'll clone the spacer again, and we'll move this up. Oh, okay, let's just move the spacer down. All right, so now here, this is going to be where we give them the reject message. Okay, so let's clone it one more time before we do that, and let's move our extra space up between the two. There we go. Okay, so this is our reject message. Or reason for part acceptance. And now here, you want to put in reject reason. Okay, now what I like to do when I've got a field that's being filled in here, I like to make it really clear that this is a unique message from our team. So I will change the background color to a really light color, from another color basically. So you might want really light gray or, really light blue, whatever works for your company color scheme. And now this, I like to make this italic so that it looks like it's almost handwritten in a way. And now here, we're going to paste in our earlier statement that we cut out of there. It says, please upload, please follow the above guidance and upload your type again using the button below as soon as possible. There we go. All right, so we save this. And there we go. We've got a partly accepted message now. So refresh, partly accepted. Change to who you send it from if you want to. Done. Now, finally, we can go on to reject. It's a very similar process to before. So we make notes mandatory. We add a message. Please explain to the contact why you have rejected their upload and give guidance on what they need to do next time. Now we will add a field as the reject reason. And we'll put the note right at the bottom because I like to make that the last thing they do. Okay, and now afterwards, email notification. We will call this contact document rejected. And we'll choose the recipient. Again, this is the contact attached to the document and their email address. Done. Email template, of course. So now we go create template again. Go back. Cloning templates is a great way to do this because it saves you a lot of time and also keeps things looking really similar throughout your system. So it gives you a really good business image and it makes you look more professional. Obviously, you want to have a good logo and a good header. I've just made quick things for my videos, so rejected. But you know, for my property business, we've got a nice header, a nice footer, and all our emails have the same size font and the same sort of layout. It just looks really good across the board. Okay, action required. So it's going to say right to end reject, or whatever this is, rejected. Please take action ASAP. Okay, so that will say action required, proof of address rejected, please take action ASAP, for example. So unfortunately, your document type upload has been rejected. Reason for rejection. Okay, please follow the above guidance and upload your document type again using the button below as soon as possible. Boom, save. Now we can go back here, refresh, rejected, done. All right, so now our blueprint is in place. Now this is going to cause a problem for us because you can't run a workflow on a blueprint to move the blueprint stage very easily. So as per our last video, when somebody uploads when we request the document from somebody, we have a workflow rule that runs on creation of a requested document record that then automatically moves the blueprint to requested or moves the stage to requested and sends them their first email. Now this won't run because of that. So if we go into oh no, it's not this, it's in the button. The button won't work, I don't think. So let's try it, but I don't think it'll work. So if we go onto the button and let's request a new document from Jack Jones, I'm going to request proof of address. It says it's successfully requested. And now if we go to requested documents, see, it's not actually here. Very strange. Oh no, sorry, that's pending review. Now this will be outstanding. Brilliant, yeah, here it is. And it's been changed to requested. And now if we click into it, it's in our blueprint. That's phenomenal. Okay, because that doesn't actually normally work. So I'm really glad to see that. Maybe it's because it's the first step in the blueprint, I don't know. But normally you can't change a blueprint through code. Or you can, but it's a really difficult process. And I'll show you how to do that in another video if you're interested. So here we go. For example, now though, when we click when we upload this document that's been requested, there will be a problem because it won't move this to received. So upload the document, proof of address. I'm just going to select my logo. So this is the client now uploading their proof of address. Submit. Now what should happen is that should move to the stage that says received, and we should receive an email that says thank you, your document has been received. But I think we're going to have a problem because it won't let us automatically change the transition here without running some code. So if you remember from our previous video, we have, you see this is not working. In our previous video, we showed you how this was all set up, and it was set up using a Zoho flow. And in the Zoho flow, we changed the status. Wrong flow, wrong flow. All right. So here's our flow, and you see the flow failed today, and the reason it failed is because the status cannot be updated as it is in a blueprint. Yeah? Okay, so the way we get around this, it's no drama, it's just a bit of code, and I'll share the code in the video description. So the first thing we want to do is we want to take out the update of the status, because otherwise it's going to make this fail every time. So we go to status and we just take that out. We say, no, we'll deal with the status separately. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to make a custom function. And this custom function is going to be move blueprint stage. And this will return nothing, that's fine. So incoming, we want the module this is working in, module name, and that will be a string. We want the record ID, and that will be an integer, and we want the new stage name, and that will be a string, and we want the transition name, and that will also be a string. Now, I think that's all we need, so I'm going to create this, and now on my other screen I'm just going to grab the code from my existing system. I'm quickly running out of hard drive space here, so I'm hoping I can do this quickly so that the video doesn't crash. Okay, so I forgot we were going to need this, otherwise I would have prepared it ahead of time. So I'm going to my flow for my business, and I'm going into my custom functions. And I'm just going to copy and paste the code from there. So go to logic. I've got a lot of flows that I use through my business, so it'll just take me a minute to find it. A blueprint. There we go. Update blueprint stage. Edit. And let's copy all this code. Oh, goodness me. Okay. 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 So we need a blueprint URL, and that makes things a little more complicated, but I will show you how we do this. Okay, so we've got our module. Yeah, some of these names have changed since I pasted it in. So we've got our module, we've got the name of stage, status, etc. in record. We've got the new stage, we've got the record ID, and we've got the transition name. Now what these relate to is a script inside Zoho CRM. And we need to go into here and we need to make a function, and it's going to be a standalone function because we're going to use this as an API, and the function name is going to be update blueprint stage. Display name can be the same. Create. Now on my other system, I'm going to go into the CRM and I'm going to get my code from my custom function. So we'll go to functions and we'll look for blueprint. And we've got standalone update blueprint. So we need to put our arguments in here. So argument number 1 is new stage, and that's a string. And then we have the module, so module name, and that's also a string. We have the record ID, and that's an integer or a number. Then we have the param1 name, which is a string. We have the param1 value, which is also a string. We have the transition name, which is also a string. And finally, we have the name of the stage, status, etc. in record, and that's also a string. Okay, so now we've got our code. We've got our parameters, and now we need our code. So, give me 1 second. Okay, cool. So I have quite a lot of code here, but I will clean it up before I post it down below. Because, for example, this is all meaningless. There we go. Alright, so I'm not going to go through what all this code does. I'm just going to save this. I'll share the code with you. Oh, of course, my connections are different now. So bear with me 1 second while I just find my connections. There we go. Okay, so in CRM, you need to set up a connection giving you access to everything. Okay guys, so now we're going to set up the connection. So we go to Zoho OAuth, and the connection name is modules all connection. And you should copy this exactly as I'm doing. Now the modules we need to select here are quite specific because I've been getting some errors from Zoho. So we're going to scroll down to Zoho CRM, just the CRM stuff. It would be great if there was a search function. You know, a filter function just to filter everything that has CRM in it, but there isn't. Okay, and you want to select, come on CRM, there we are. So, starting with the top, we want Zoho CRM modules all. Then we want Zoho CRM settings layouts all. Or settings all. We want the settings custom views all. We want the settings.layouts all. We want the Zoho CRM.org all. Oh, where's .org? There we go. We want the Zoho CRM.bulk all. And Zoho settings, Zoho CRM.settings all. I'm going to select that one as well, just in case. Modules all. These are different from when I set it up last time. Settings read. Looking for settings all. Now the settings tag all. Maybe it no longer gives you access to settings all. Okay. Okay, we're going to save that and see if that works. I've got a pop-up now, which you can't see, but it's asking me to accept giving permission to Zoho CRM to talk to Zoho CRM, which seems a bit redundant, but anyway. So we're giving it that permission. So now we have this connection. So now when we go back to our blueprint here, we should be able to use that connection. I'm just checking if we have any other connections. We don't. Great. Okay, so let's test this quick, guys. So we've got the new stage would be accepted. Oh no, sorry, received. Module would be request documents, I believe, or is it requested documents? Requested documents. Okay, the record ID, we're going to do it on this one. And now we don't have any parameters, so that's, I'll show you that another time. So the transition name is also called received, and this is called status. I think it's just called status. Let's check. Status, yes, on its own. So now when we run this, it should update our blueprint, and it should mark this from being requested to being received. So let's see if that works. Yeah, looks like it worked. So if we refresh this now, fantastic. There we go, it's received. Guys, that's a really powerful script, this here. And this, you can do so much with it. I've seen so many Zoho experts say it's impossible to update a blueprint using DELUGE or programmatically. I heard one of the experts in Zoho, very well known. If you're on YouTube, you will definitely know who I'm talking about. And literally in a video this morning or yesterday, he said the only way to progress a blueprint is to click the button. Well, that's not true. As you see, we've just updated the blueprint using this code. So I'm going to save this code, and now I'm going to make this available via the REST API. And I'm going to say via the API key, copy, save. Now what I can do is I can go back to our flow and say that this is the URL to our function, and then this will feed it the information from our flow to tell it to update our blueprint stage. So we've updated the date to say we received the document on this date. We've added a note with all the details. And now what we want to do is update the blueprint stage to received. So we just feed in the module. The module is there, module name. The ID is there. The new stage is received. The stage name is received. New stage is received. Blueprint stage name. I think this is the status. Yes, and then the transition name is received. So I've called these things slightly different things in my scripts, but anyway, that will work. And now we say update blueprint stage to received. Apply changes. Apply. This is super powerful, guys. Watch out. So let's go to our requested documents. Let's look at all documents. And we're going to delete all the documents we've requested. All right, so now we're going to go to our contacts, and we're going to choose Jack again, and we're going to say request proof of address from Jack. And we're going to say request proof of ID from Jack. There we go. So now we should have two document requests. There we go. And they should both show in the outstanding documents. There we go. And they both are requested. Now, acting as Jack, we come in here and we say, okay, I'll give you my proof of ID. I'm just uploading a file from my system. There we go. So this is Jack's proof of ID. And it sends it twice because I put myself as the backup. So now we have the proof of address that's been requested as well. And before we upload the second document, I just want to refresh here. And you will see now that our blueprint is working. We only have one document left in here, and we have one document left in pending review. And this is the one we've just uploaded. And now we're going to upload our proof of address, and it'll also show in pending review. And that proves that our blueprint update has worked. So I'm also going to upload my logo here as his proof of address. Close that. go back here. If we refresh our pending review documents, we will see 2 documents will now be here. Isn't that fantastic? Now, look here, guys. Because of the blueprint, we can now see, thank you for submitting your proof of ID. A member of our team will review your upload shortly and will confirm whether or not the document meets our criteria. Please let us know if you need anything in the meantime. There we go. Thank you for submitting your proof of address. Member of our team, blah, blah, blah. So the customer has now been updated automatically to say, yep, we've received your documents. So now we click into the proof of address. And now we have the option to accept, partly accept, or reject. So we click on the attachment. Yeah, that looks good. So we'll accept that. And there we go. The transition is, the blueprint is over, and the client has received an email saying, thank you, your proof of address has been accepted. How amazing is that, guys? Absolutely phenomenal. I love this system. Zoho is brilliant. You can just do so much with it. So something I've realized is that in our blueprint, we need to be able to have from the partly accepted, it needs to be able to go back to received. Actually, we don't even need to do that. So we can go onto received, and we can say this is a common transition, but it doesn't include all states. We can only go to received from partly accepted or rejected, which means if it's sitting in this stage and then the client uploads it again, then we can say received. And the same for rejected. If it's in rejected and the client uploads it again, it goes back here as received and sits in received again. Okay, so we republish. Now, because we've made some changes to the system, we need to move all of the records to the current version of the blueprint. Okay, and now if we go back here, we can see that we now have only 1 document pending review, and this document we're going to reject. So we can see the document here, but this time we're going to, let's reject it outright. Okay, so the reject reason. So as we showed you before, this is what it tells your staff member to do. Please explain to the contact why you have rejected their upload. Unfortunately, your photo of your proof of ID is too blurry. Please upload a clear photo or scan of this document. Okay, and then here, rejected too blurry. Save. Okay, so 2 things have happened here. We can go to the notes, and well, let's refresh first. So we can go to the notes, and we can see here, oh, it's in the wrong order, that's why. So we can see that this user, yeah, Gregory Moulton, that's me, has rejected the document for being too blurry. The document is currently sitting in the rejected stage, and we're waiting for it to be received. Okay, now if we go and see the client's email, he's received a new email that says, action required, proof of ID rejected, please take action ASAP. So, unfortunately, your proof of ID has been rejected. Unfortunately, your photo of your proof of ID is too blurry. Please upload a clear photo or scan of this document. And then it says, please follow the above guidance to upload your proof of ID again using this button. So let's try again, and this time we're going to give a clear version. Okay, so now Jack should receive an email. I'm not loving it. Okay, Jack should now receive an email. There we go. Thank you. We've received your proof of ID. We'll be in touch soon. Okay, now if we go back to our system and we look at pending review documents, we can see Jack's given us his pending review document. And now we can check it again. Now, this is something that actually we might want to work on. We might want to change the document name to rejected when we reject it. But anyway, for now, we can just sort by date added and look at the latest version of the document. There we go. I'm happy with that. So we will accept that. Now it's closed off, and we can wait and see. Jack has just received this email saying, "Thank you, Jack. We have accepted your proof of ID." Phenomenal. Guys, there's so much more you can do with this. You can have these documents, once accepted, automatically upload to the contact, so that once it's gone through the approval process, when you click accept, it ends up attaching it to Jack's record, his contact record, and that is something I'll do in another video. And there's so much more we can do to expand on this. If you need anything, let me know. If you've got any specific questions, let me know. Another thing I want to do is show you how to make a canvas view of the approval process, so that it's easier for you to see the fields that matter, and it'll make it look a bit nicer than this. But this video has gone on too long for now. Please like the video. Please subscribe to my channel, because that really helps. And please comment down below, even if it's just to say, "Nice video, that was helpful," or if you've got any questions. All the scripting, the DELUGE scripting code, is going to be in the video description. If you have any problems with it, let me know. I'll be happy to help. Thanks for watching.